Welcome to Little Bad Daddy's Den. I am here with Patty IMsL, and she has brought up this really important cause that I think is worth talking about. Website is www.rainbowrailroad.ca. So Patty, tell us a little bit about Rainbow Railroad.
Sure. Rainbow Railroad is it's a Canadian-based charity, but it does work all over the globe, and it took its name Rainbow Railroad from the Underground Railroad. And what they do is they work with LGBT individuals who are living in countries with state-sanctioned violence, murder, persecution, and they support those individuals in getting them out of harm's way to safe countries. So these are individuals who've been identified as being at risk for being severely harmed or murdered in their home countries. So most of the cases are coming from Uganda, Nigeria, Jamaica. I won't be surprised if we start to see some more Eastern European cases come in. We'll see on that one.
Okay, so we discussed a little earlier, they have a very large group of lawyers and legal representatives that actually donate all of their time to this cause. They only have one paid staff, and the donations that you make to this cause primarily go to the cases that need them. How long has Rainbow Railroad been around? So
Rainbow Railroad's been around for about 4 or 5 years. In that time, the first year they helped maybe, I think it was like 4 to 6 individuals. The next year they helped almost 10 individuals. This last year, just between November and December alone, we were able to support 10 people alone just in those 2 months. So every year, the number of people that Rainbow Railroad is able to help support and extricating them, it continues to grow because support continues to grow. And like you said, there's only one paid staff, and actually right now there's a Canadian bank who is funding that position for a couple of years. So when people make donations, it's going directly to travel costs, it's going directly to immigration costs if there are any.
So there are a lot of people in trouble out there, and they have no way of getting out. So give us an example of a case that you have been able to help along.
Sure. So a number of months ago, there was an HIV/AIDS activist in Nigeria who had death threats. Very credible, very realistic death threats against him. He was moving every 2 to 3 days from safe house to safe house to try and stay ahead of the people trying to murder him. Someone got in contact with Rainbow Railroad. We were able to verify the case. We put an emergency call out to our donor base, and within 3 days we were able to raise a couple $1,000s to get this individual out of Nigeria and land him in a safe country. For most of the individuals we're helping, they are landing in US, Canada, UK, Netherlands. Those are probably the top 4 landing places for these individuals. And that's just one example. There's examples of lesbian activists, trans people, youth, seasoned adult activists. It's ubiquitous. There isn't anyone, and these are our brothers and sisters. We are each other's keepers. We have to be each other's keepers.
So let me ask you, what drew you to this organization? How did you, first of all, they're looking for volunteers, always looking for volunteers. Again, you can go to www.rainbowrailroad.ca.
And I want to say for the volunteer opportunities, some you do need to be in Toronto, but sometimes there's opportunities that come up for things like web designers or people to help do regular web maintenance. And if you have those skills, you could be anywhere and do those remotely for the organization if you have those skills and would like to contribute in that way.
And so again, what drew you to?
Well, in my year as Ms. Leather Toronto, my SASH husbands and I, that's Mr. Leather Toronto, who was feral that year, Mr. Rubber Toronto, who was Andy, and the pup at the time, Pup Ego.
Love pups.
I know, and Toronto, we have a pup title. And the four of us sat down and said, well, what's our charity going to be for the year? And we really deliberated. There's so many wonderful, worthy charities. And when we thought about Toronto, consistently for many years in a row has been named the most multicultural city in the world. And each one of us around had met someone who had come to Canada, an LGBT person who had come to Canada seeking asylum and refuge as an LGBT person because of persecution in their home country. And so it felt like I couldn't think of like what could be more important than saving a life. So for us, it felt just like, yeah, this is it. And so I started raising funds and getting to know them as Ms. Leather Toronto. And the producers of IMsL said to me very enthusiastically, keep going with them, keep using your international year to talk about them. And my hope is when my year is done, I'm going to continue. I've already signed on to be on their fundraising committee, so I'm going to keep going with them because I'm so passionate about what they do, because we can save LGBT lives. We can save LGBT lives.
So all of you out there, if you guys want an awesome volunteer opportunity, there is a lot of outrage out there about the persecution of LGBT individuals. There's such a huge array of specific types in the spectrum of the rainbow, all different hues, colors, and they aren't just here. If you want to make a difference, I promote this cause. I promote this cause if you want to think outside of your own life. This is important. This is important.
We are each other's keepers, and if you have some extra dollars, if you have some extra time, like I said, we can save lives.
Yeah, it doesn't take a lot. We have our lives, all that stuff, but you know, some of these remote volunteer things, it's like when you're bored and you want to play a video game or you want to just cruise on Facebook and see what's going on. I mean, here's a perfect opportunity. Thank you so much for your time. We are here at Sin in the City. So you ready for your shenanigans?
I'm ready for shenanigans. My first responsibility of shenaniganery? Is that even a word? I don't even know if that's a word. Is to go to a judges meeting, because I have the privilege of being on the judging panel for International Personal Leather. So
yeah, so that's awesome to be judging. Patty actually has to get to a meeting, and there is that. Do you have any shameless plugs that you want to put in?
I will, in 2 weeks from now, I'll be in Montreal at Monsieur Queer et Monsieur Graba Montreal, and then I will be at Mr. and Ms. Washington State, and then of course, April 9th through 12th, I'll be at IMsL, where I hear it's a good time.
I don't know.
It's a good time?
I live in the silent auction there, so.
Okay, you live in silent. So I'll be at IMsL, and where I get to see a wonderful group of women compete and form a sisterhood of their own, and then I get a new sister at the end of the weekend. So that'll be cool.
Again, thank you for your time.
Thank you so much for this opportunity.
Weekend.
Thank you, you too.